Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Tales from the Service Industry. I'm one of your favorite co-hosts, Miss B, here with your normal host, Bill.
Hey guys.
And our favorite resident deviant and co-host, Liz.
Hi, team.
And guys, do we have a special treat for you today? We have an amazing guest chef.
Hello, friends.
I'm going to jump in just to kind of explain why we referred to her as just chef. In our industry, in the hotel business, there's a couple of departments that you kind of become known by that position rather than a name. So with your executive chefs, it always just kind of defaults to chef.
Yep.
Very true.
With engineering, you have a chief engineer that heads the department. They just become chief.
It's very true.
You know, and we were kind of joking about it earlier, but I've known chiefs that I know their name and nobody calls them by that.
Yep.
And chef, you were saying the very same thing. The property that you're at now, people don't know your name.
Yeah, it's nice that they don't know my name. They cannot
awesome.
find me. And I am just chef. And it brings, you know, a sense of status in the hotel. So,
Well, and a sense of respect, too.
yeah. So you walk down the hallway, it's like, oh, that's chef. Oh, that's chef. Watch out.
Well, it's a position earned through not just time, but skill.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there are people in the hotel business that are in positions that they probably shouldn't be in, but they've done their time and they've gotten a promotion.
I feel
With
attacked.
present company not included in that statement. But I mean, with culinary, you have to have skills, you know, so when you earn that title, you've earned that title. It's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I do have to ask. I know that you have worked in the hospitality industry for a while. Can you kind of walk us a little bit through your resume without mentioning any names, all that, but just a brief description of kind of what you've done and where you've been?
Sure. So, from the beginning, I was actually a general manager of a banquet center.
Nice.
And from there, really wanted to get back into back of house operations. So I've done everything from front of house and wanted to go into back of house. And so from going to culinary school, becoming a line cook, moving through all of the stations like the broiler, baking, pastry, and garde and banquets.
Wait. Can you define that for
What's
me?
a garde?
So garde is working in the cold section of the chef world, like making all the beautiful little fruit displays and the little ducks and like turtles out of a watermelon.
Whoa.
That
cool.
it takes years and it's really fun, but it's a lot of work. So I did that for a while and then became a chef de cuisine, sous chef, and then executive chef.
That's so awesome.
From there, owned 2 restaurants and then became an executive chef for a big box hotel.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And then did task force as an executive chef for a couple of hotels in Los Angeles, and then currently executive chef of a hotel in LA area.
Nice. That's awesome.
Holy moly, I'm overwhelmed.
No, you got loads of experience under your belt. Is it a weird thing to ask a chef what's your favorite thing to cook?
No, because I get asked that almost every day of my life.
Really? See, I feel that.
It's not weird.
No.
But then sometimes you don't really want to sit there and explain to people who don't understand. They're like, oh, I really just like cooking braised short ribs, just something, and then they'll ask you, how do you do that? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Shoot.
And you're like, do you know?
Now I have to go into my whole cooking process.
Yeah, like, do you have an hour and a half? Like,
I love that. So is that your favorite?
No, it's actually not my favorite. My favorite thing to do is making fresh pastas.
You don't. Oh, I bet that's hard too. I've done several classes, and I was not the best student. So kudos to you.
Well, thank you. It's just like, rolling out dough all day and just boiling it. And it's just therapeutic for me.
That's awesome.
but that would be your favorite thing to prepare.
Yeah, making
Okay.
fresh pastas and sauces.
Do you like to cook at home or like after work? Or are you just like, I'm done. I don't want to look at a kitchen.
No, because, the executive chef life is not.
You're not on the line 100% of the time.
Oh, no, absolutely. The current place I'm at, I'm never on the line.
Yeah.
It's admin work, but it's a lot of just coaching and mentoring folks, cooks on how to make the food.
Menu development. I mean, that's a huge component of being a chef.
That's something I'm doing constantly all day. But with that being said, I usually have one of my cooks make me dinner before I leave. When I arrive, there's somebody who makes me breakfast and lunch, because I'll just say, hey, I need to test your skills today, so can you please make me a steak? And then I'll eat that for dinner.
It's called auditing.
Yes. Pop quiz. Make me this.
I do it all the time, especially when I'm hungry.
Oh, that's
But-
amazing.
Do you ever go like Gordon Ramsay on people?
No, I'm not that type of person, and I've never been. And I feel that has made me very successful in the kitchen. How I
People want to hire you because you're not a jerk.
yeah, because everyone's super sensitive these days.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Well, and like delivering criticism is a difficult skill. It takes practice.
In a constructive way.
Constructive criticism
Yeah,
is
yeah,
difficult.
That
Very
people
true.
take and don't just walk out of a kitchen and quit or
No.
a front desk.
Going full Ramsay on people is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been caught doing that a couple times.
You know, when sometimes you work at some of these hotel management groups, going Ramsay's it's not going to happen because you have a lot of staff members who will just run to HR. It just becomes a bigger nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Gordon Ramsay must never have had HR.
No, but I mean, it's a different ethos, though. Yes, hotel restaurants and individual restaurants are food and beverage, but they operate very differently as far as like that code of conduct and nurturing and developing rather than going full Ramsay on people.
Especially if that restaurant is privately owned
Oh, maybe
and
they don't-
run by
yeah.
the owner. Who knows what happens in those places?
I've overheard horrific conversations in those kind of restaurants.
Dang.
That's not something you hear in hotel
No,
restaurants
no.
or hotel kitchens.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be an owner and an executive chef at the same time. I used to have customers coming in. It was a really small restaurant that I owned. It only sat about 50 seats. And my menu only had 10 items every season.
Wow.
Everything was made from scratch. And I took every item very personal. So when I
Yeah.
had somebody coming in and they would criticize something about my restaurant, I was like, you know what? You don't like good food. Get out of here.
Like, I don't think this is the place for you.
Yes. I had people coming in asking for a well done steak, and I would refuse to make it.
Sorry,
On
we don't offer that
principle.
here.
I can't.
Yeah. I would say I'm so sorry, but it's served medium rare or rare. That's it. If you don't want to, if you don't want to eat it, then
Oh my God.
please order
Chicken?
something else. But then when I went to go work at hotel
You had to
restaurant,
change your whole mindset.
it did. It was kind of one of those things where you had to cook for the guest and whatever they wanted, and you literally had to bend over.
Like
for
the
them.
customer's always
Yep.
right kind of thing. Just serve them what they want.
Yeah. I had a customer who will tip the servers really well, but all he wanted was an overcooked piece of chicken with ranch drizzled all over it. Like 5 days a week.
That's wild.
Like seasoned chicken? Was there any like herb seasoning?
No, just salt and pepper on the chicken,
good,
cooked
good.
so it's dry, and then he sauced it with ranch.
That's so weird.
Grilled?
Yeah, grilled chicken.
No, raw, Liz, raw.
Boiled? That's an option.
Chicken tartare.
Roasted?
It's all the rage.
That's an option. Okay.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Chef, what are your feelings on raw meats like steak tartare?
I just don't like it.
Really?
Okay, so 90% of the places I've gone to does not do it right.
Oh, what do they do wrong? Tell us.
You know, traditionally you're supposed to use a quail egg,
Yes.
quail yolk.
Yes. And like the very top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of raw beef?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why?
Like finely chopped beef.
And then so you go into, you know, I hate to say it, but you go into certain areas like where people won't eat a raw quail egg yolk. So they have to adjust the menu to a slightly cooked yolk that's chicken, like sous
Oh.
vide. And it's just not the same. Ideally, I just don't want to eat minced up raw beef.
You know what's funny about that? I've only had beef tartare once, and I just tried it because the thought of it like made me like, and you're the one who made it for me. And I remember I actually liked it, but it still scared me, so I didn't eat it again. But raw
I mean,
chicken is
obviously-
a straight no.
For safety reasons?
I've had cooks that serve raw chicken before.
According to our, California food handlers card, chicken needs to be cooked to a certain temperature. Okay.
Oh my God. Wait, so do all your chefs like actually take temperatures of food? Or sorry, cooks?
Yeah, cooks, chefs,
Cooks,
yes.
cooks, sous chef?
Okay.
Yes. So the ones who really care about food safety and their job, they do.
I wasn't sure. I've never spent much time in a kitchen, so I don't know if they're actually like temperature checking each food, if that's like a thing, or they just know how long to cook it.
They should know how long to cook it, plus touching the chicken, making sure it has like that certain type of bounce. But when you're cooking for a lot of people, you want to check the temperature.
Yeah.
And I've had cooks who've been there for, like over 30 years, and they think they know what they're doing, but they never check the temperature of the chicken. And that's when they overcook the chicken and somebody has to pour ranch all over it.
Oh, unless you're into that sort of thing.
Well, also, I'm sure, like, in the back of a kitchen, there are a lot of factors that you need to take into account when, like, temperature checking food. What burner am I using? What oven am I using? Like, not all of our equipment is perfect. Let's be real.
And cooks things differently.
Like,
That's
what
true.
was the temperature of that piece of meat before I put it on the grill as well? Like, I feel like, are those all factors?
Well, if you are eating from a safe place,
No.
any kind of raw meat should never be above 40 degrees before you put it onto a cooking, a stove or a grill or anything like that. Unless you're taking a piece of meat, like a piece of beef, and you're letting it get to room temperature within 2 hours, and then you cook it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But for the most part,
This is like crash course on food handlers.
yeah.
Right?
I've taken the course a couple times. Have you, Bill?
I have.
I haven't. Just kidding.
You have to. For your own sanity, you'll be like, what the?
Yeah.
That's just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, as a chef, are you like super against microwaves?
Yes.
I thought so. I think they have like a weird thing, right? Do you guys have a weird thing against microwaves?
I mean, I'll microwave food for my kid, but
Okay.
Not for
But-
the restaurant.
I mean, microwaves are temperamental. And when they
Yeah.
introduced this thing called a turbo chef, it's pretty much an oven and a microwave put together. I was
Oh.
so against that too.
Really?
But it's just cheating.
okay.
It's not real cooking.
It's not real cooking. And it's just not necessary to put like something in a microwave to heat it up.
Okay. It's not like the molecules or I don't even know how a microwave works, sorry. But there's some
Quite literally vibration.
So
Yeah.
when we're trying to eat healthy, say steamed broccoli,
Okay.
when you're actually steaming broccoli, you'll get those nutrients from the broccoli. But when you take broccoli that's already steamed and you stick it in the microwave, you're getting nothing out of it.
what? I'm eating broccoli for no reason.
Pretty much.
Do you buy those steamer bags that you put in the microwave?
I will honestly buy a big bag of frozen broccoli. I'll take some out, put it in a bowl, put some water in, put a towel over, and then microwave it.
See, the more process your food goes through, like especially heating process, like say you take some broccoli that has been, or some asparagus that's been grilled on the oven, and then you're not eating it, you put it away, it's leftovers, you eat it the next day. You're gonna get the most nutrients if you ate that grilled asparagus cold. But once you throw it in the microwave, you're just breaking down the nutrients.
Interesting.
I'm not saying it's a completely bad thing because people still gotta eat, but it's just the best way to eat food is when you're taking it from its natural like source first and eat it that day.
Yeah, the best way to eat your veggies is buying them fresh from the
They just go
produce
bad
section.
so fast.
That's
Gotta
why you buy
eat it.
loose. Buy the loose stuff. You buy what you need, and that's
Yes.
it. I mean, how often do you buy and I've done this millions of times. I'll buy a little, whatever they call it, a little crate, whatever it is, of mushrooms. I'll use like a third of it. I'll put the rest in the fridge, and then it just goes bad.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, and it's cheaper. Usually when you buy bulk and you buy like 4 mushrooms, it's going to be like 50 cents versus $3 for the whole thing, that half of it's going to go bad.
That's why I started back my UPS man bringing my dinners in
Yeah.
a little refrigerated box. Because I don't need a whole bunch of green onion. I might need like 2 little things of it, and I'm not wasting any food. My mother is going to love that part of the episode. Sorry, Mom.
What can Brown do for you today?
Yeah, I can't afford for someone to hand pick my meals, give me a menu card and tell me how to make it.
That's what discount codes are for, okay? I have a system.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay, we'll have to get that from you.
But to segue, Bill, do you have any questions for Chef?
I do, but they're not food related.
That is,
I
I
have
think,
so many food questions.
no, I think we can pivot a little bit.
Okay. All right. So, a lot of the questions or a lot of the stories that we share are like the exception, not the rule. So, we joke about the a-hole of the week or Ms. B's B of the week. So a lot of the conversations are kind of the more extreme things. Okay. Well, that's where the fun is, right?
True that.
So that's where my questions for you lie. Questions like, what is the craziest, most outlandish demand or interaction you've had with a guest? You kind of touched on that when you were sharing a story about your restaurant. But those are the kind of stories that I love, selfishly. And that's where I would go over
Okay.
food questions.
I like it.
one time I had a guest send in a room service order. So I had one of the cooks read the ticket, and it says extra mayonnaise, so much mayonnaise that will make you sick.
Oh my God.
On the ticket?
Yeah.
Like
so
someone had to type that in.
well, someone ordered it that way through the room service operator, and that room service operator had to type that out and put it into the...
And I don't think they were making that up. The guest probably told them, like, no, I want so much mayonnaise it would make someone sick.
That's amazing.
So cook reads it and goes, "Chef, I need your help." I was like, okay. So I come and I take a look at the ticket. I was like, oh man. Okay, let's find out what room number it is. Let me talk to them personally so I could provide the best service for the guests. Like, do they just want extra mayonnaise in a bowl, or what? Or they want it
Mayonnaise
slathered
in a bowl.
Fair question.
Right?
Fair question.
And when it's that massive amount of mayonnaise, you have to upcharge them.
Oh, of
because
course.
usually you're using about a tablespoon of mayonnaise.
And
I don't know how
that's
much
being generous.
Right? And I don't know how much mayonnaise they wanted to make the normal person sick, because after 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, I start getting really sick.
What food was this on?
Yeah, what was the dish?
A turkey club sandwich.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just a sandwich.
Okay.
Just a sandwich.
They wanted the mayonnaise like dripping onto the plate, out like coming out of the side.
That's why I had to
So you called the guest.
probe a little bit and ask the guest what's going on here, right?
Okay.
So I finally get a hold of the guest, and it's like, hey, Mr.
Smith.
Mr. Smith. So how much mayonnaise do you want on this sandwich? Because the communication is kind of broken down here. Like, you just want like an extra side of mayonnaise, or would you like a cup of mayonnaise? And he says, listen, I spoke to the operator and I said, enough mayonnaise to make you sick. I was like, okay, so 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise makes me sick. How much mayonnaise makes you sick?
It's very subjective.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
And so he says, okay, so take 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. You have 5 layers of ingredients in the sandwich. I want 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise
in between each layer.
In each layer.
Gross.
So, like, to put it in perspective, turkey club, bread, mayonnaise, turkey, mayonnaise, lettuce, mayonnaise, cheese,
Oh my God.
mayonnaise. Oh, there's bacon on a club.
Bacon, mayonnaise,
mayonnaise,
cheese.
tomato, mayonnaise.
Yes.
So was he trying to commit suicide or
Slowly. Very, very slowly.
wouldn't all that just do it right then?
He wanted
Heart
an
just stops.
ambulance ride. Okay.
So I do what he asked. I made him, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise on each layer of sandwich, have it delivered to his room. And then he calls down and he's like, you know what? I need more mayonnaise.
He needs to dip his sandwich in more mayonnaise.
So I gave him a side of like 2 cups of mayonnaise on the side to dip.
I'm sorry, using your best judgment, how much mayonnaise do you think was on his original sandwich?
At least
Like
like,
a half a cup?
yeah, about a half a cup.
Oh, I have
of
good
mayonnaise.
math in my head. So, okay, so he already has a half a cup of mayonnaise on his sandwich. He wants you give him an additional 2 cups.
Yes, 2 cups of mayonnaise for him to dip his sandwich into.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, that's like a half a jar of a normal jar of mayonnaise that we would buy.
True.
Right. And this just in from our research department.
Ring, ring, ring.
Apparently, a tablespoon of mayonnaise is between 90 and 100 calories.
Whoa. All right. So then what do this guest want? I'm just dying.
So gave him 2 more cups of mayonnaise on the side for dipping, and it didn't hear from him for the rest of the evening.
His heart gave out. From what how many thousands of calories are we at now?
I don't know.
Math department?
There is no math department here.
Let me phone the research department.
So then a week later, I get this review.
It better be a good review.
Oh my God.
So he gave me a 2, which is not good for food quality.
Well, yeah, he had too much mayonnaise.
Oh my God. I'm dying.
My stay was really great, but there was not enough mayonnaise in my sandwich.
Stop it. Stop.
And it just...
I went by the exact formula which you asked. That is
I
insane.
just couldn't believe this. And this was literally the second week I had just worked at this hotel. And my manager's like all about, survey review, pulls me into the office. Like, you can't short the guest. I'm like, listen, I told her the story about the mayonnaise and she still didn't believe me. She's like,
Did you short the ticket?
See,
Yeah, I would have
like,
taken a picture of that.
No, I would have framed that.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Like your rave sheet artwork, I would have
Yeah.
totally framed that receipt.
Like a picture of the sandwich as well, with like the
Yeah.
mayonnaise like dripping out each layer.
Oh, gross.
God, you know what? Based on some of our stories, could he have been using the mayonnaise for other things?
Oh, maybe.
Okay. All right.
You never
I'm
know.
just saying.
We're getting graphic here.
Yeah.
It's too
But-
early in the night for that.
So that's Mr. Mayonnaise. And so every time I make a sandwich,
You think of him?
I think of that story. And I just think about this guy and his mayonnaise. And he just really loved mayonnaise.
Every
So-
time you
funny.
skimp someone on mayonnaise, you're like, I'm saving your arteries in your heart. You're welcome.
Oh my God.
Okay, do you have another horror story for us?
Yes, I do. So this same hotel, it's 5:45 a.m.
Nice and early.
Yeah, I usually get to work around 5 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
5:45 a.m. get a room service call, another room service. So a lot of shady stuff happens in room service, right?
Oh, I love it.
For a can of whipped cream,
Oh, what?
Oh.
champagne, the cheapest bottle that you could find. The Grand Cru.
That's funny on a level that you don't know yet.
Yeah.
Whole strawberries.
Of course.
It sounds kind of romantic.
Don't tell me like chocolate syrup too.
Hershey's chocolate
Oh!
syrup.
All right. What else are we missing? Anything else?
Yeah, monostat for the resulting yeast infection.
And 10 extra towels.
Oh. Those stains are not going to come out, Bill.
Did it happen to be? Did it happen to be February 14th?
No, it wasn't. It was a weekend. So
Okay.
I thought
Okay.
5 in the morning.
5:45 in the morning because I
Same
remember because we didn't open till 6 a.m. But with room service, you could call half an hour earlier
To pre-place your order.
to pre-place your
They
order.
wanted to be like high up in the queue.
So our room service attendant goes, "Chef, I need you to look at this order. Can I bring up a whole can of whipped cream?" Like, why would they want a whole can of whipped cream? I don't even have a button for that in Micros. I mean,
What do you do?
This
A
open
quantity,
ticket.
quantity of 10 on a side of whipped cream? Like, I don't know.
That's an open ticket, $20. I'm just kidding.
So I read the whole entire ticket.
And you're like, ooh,
This is not good.
Wait,
So-
and I'm sorry, this level of spicy is at 5:45 a.m., right?
Yes.
Okay.
They wanted their wake up call. Okay.
Somebody's going to be up early.
So I read this ticket and I said, "Hey, this doesn't seem right." So it's 5:45 a.m. I'm not really thinking clearly. I decided to tell the sous chef, "Hey, chef, you need to go with the room service attendant because she's a female and I just don't want something weird to happen."
And deliver
God.
this
Deliver
order.
this. And he gets mad at me. He's like, "This is not my job." I'm like, "Please, like,
Oh my
just,
God.
you know."
I hate when they pull that card.
So they go upstairs and they deliver the items. The lady who opens the door is like half naked.
Makes sense.
And she won't open the door all the way. She's just kind of, okay, just leave everything outside.
Yeah, because you need to like push the cart like into the room.
Correct.
Ooh.
So then the room service attendant goes, "Hey, I really need you to sign this check." So she has her hand over her towel
her
breast,
parts?
and then she has
Her bits.
her breast, and the sous chef got a free show.
Oh, because she had to move her hand.
Yes. So they both come downstairs giggling and report back to me because on that weekend I was the MOD.
Of course.
You know,
Double dipping, chef.
they report to me about, hey, you know, we
Booby.
you know, there was a naked woman trying to get whipped cream and it smelled like cigarettes, and there is a dog in the room. There wasn't,
my
you know, she didn't pay for the pet fee and cigarette smoke. So I use my best judgment and I call the assistant general manager, who wasn't very bright himself. He and the chief of the hotel, the director of engineering, decide, hey, we're going to go upstairs and check this out.
They wanted
Oh
a
my
piece of the
God.
show.
And then I said, listen, guys,
She's busy.
you,
With that
You
can
might
of
be-
whipped cream.
I
You
think-
might be interrupting something.
I said, hey, it needs to be, I'll go up there because I'm a female, and one of you guys go with me, because if 2 guys go up there, it's
No.
gonna look like you're trying to do something to her. So then,
And we're going to put our ears to the door just before we knock to make sure
God.
nothing
Yeah.
bad is happening.
So then I got to the room. Her friend had left, and she lets me in. There's just like garbage everywhere. You tell she was, doing something a little weird.
Conducting a side business.
Who knows, right?
Hey, it's the service industry.
Yeah.
Yes. But at the end of it, there was this little chihuahua that was just frightened under the bed.
Oh, poor
And
thing.
I felt so bad. I snatched that chihuahua and called animal services.
Really?
Good for you.
And that was the end of the story.
man.
But, you never know what you would encounter on just a food order. You have Mr. Mayonnaise, you have whipped cream can.
Whipped cream cans.
Done it.
But,
But was this woman evicted from the hotel?
oh, yeah, she was evicted from the hotel. But, I think that dog went to like a good place. Maybe.
Is it dead?
No. It got adopted.
A
'cause
good place of adoption.
Yeah.
Okay.
A better home.
So I don't know what she was doing with the little dog in the room at all.
Well, that's okay. I looked over at Bill because when you were saying, all these things and then this whipped cream and then there's nobody else in the room, that's kind of freaking me out.
I hope the dog did not play a part in all that.
I was thinking that. I just didn't want to say
I
it
mean,
out loud.
hey,
I said it.
We don't kink shame.
Okay,
that.
no, I'm sorry. I can shame that kink if that is your kink.
Dogs. No.
That
Well-
goes far beyond my "there's a foot out there for everybody" statement.
So
There's a
there's a
prison out
foot out
there.
there for the majority of people.
Okay, 99.999% don't involve dogs. That's just gross.
Well, the thing is,
It is.
I saw the dog and I knew there was something wrong. And I was like, I need to take this dog and I need to save it.
Oh, I love that. Oh, man.
I imagine the dog just like running out the door, like in your arms, like, "Thank you, I'm free."
With whipped cream all over.
shaking the entire time.
That's a chihuahua for you.
Nervous little animals.
Yeah, that's
so-
crazy.
That's a good story. Mr. Mayonnaise and Mrs. Whipped Cream
Cans.
Yeah.
Bill, you got another question for us?
Yours are
I don't know if
fun.
I should.
Are you ready for another
I'm
question?
ready.
I don't know if I should.
Oh, you should.
It's an employee question. And in my time in operations, I have seen people do some egregiously stupid things. Like I've seen caustic chemicals that people have dispensed right into their own hands. I caught a kitchen steward that was mixing bleach and liquid detergent together because that was his good idea to scrub food and beverage racks, like the
Oh,
sheet
yes.
tray racks.
Yes. Okay.
You typically want to mix bleach with water and that is it. So mixing it together into this mystery concoction is
Oh my
always
God.
interesting. I've caught room attendants mixing rooms chemicals into the same bottle, so it's not yellow, it's not yellow, green, blue, and pink. It's this weird
a
brownish
rainbow.
color or this strange purple or just kind of make up whatever. So I've seen egregious things on our side. I got to ask, what is the worst thing that you've ever seen an employee do in a kitchen?
Oh, I'm so intrigued.
Like
Seen
something
people
you
do.
saw and you have to question yourself, like, how did you get this job? Did I hire you?
Yeah, why are you still here?
I'm lucky because what I've seen is just very minor stuff. But in the hotels that I've been in, I've always been the manager. If I see it, then it gets corrected right away.
Yeah.
But I have seen servers before making cocktails and then mixing it with their finger.
Oh,
And then tasting the cocktail with their finger and then re-dip the finger back in there and mixing it.
Grody.
sanitary things when it comes to bartending or just serving drinks. That could be an iced tea or a Coke. It is disgusting. Like when they take, this is also dangerous, when they take like a pint glass like straight into the ice well. That
Okay, stop calling me out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really
She did
dangerous.
that. She did
No, but
that.
I didn't know.
if you're in your own home, sure, do whatever you want. But like if you were in a restaurant and you were doing that, I think that is so disgusting.
I use the scooper.
You know what gets me is when servers, bartenders, whatever, will grab a glass by the rim.
And you have to drink from that
and
rim.
then, Here you go.
Yeah. Like
Put
my
your-
mouth is going to be on that.
Oh.
Grosses me out.
Yeah, I wish I had a little bit more juicy stories in regards to that, but I just don't.
I think that's a good thing.
It is,
Yeah.
I picked some right places to work, I guess. But over the years, I've seen front of house a lot more disgusting than back of house.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, I do have a question. I mean, a lot of times you see these horror stories of these Karens going to a restaurant and being like, oh, my steak isn't good enough, or my steak is overcooked. Do you ever just pull that plate to the back and like done some like magic to it and like sent it back to the table versus like making a full new plate?
And by magic, I think she means not do anything, put it back when they like it, not actually.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I've had steaks sent back quite a few times working in the hotel industry, and we'll have multiple attempts from different cooks, and it's never the right temperature. And so we actually just took the steak and put it through the cafeteria microwave. Brought it to the guests.
They probably loved it.
And she's like, this is the best steak I ever had. It's better than, ABC.
A high-end restaurant.
Yes, a high-end steak
Wow.
restaurant across the street. And
You're like, oh my gosh, you are so welcome. Enjoy.
Yeah. And that's going to cost $56
Wild.
For the microwave.
for the microwave steak.
That's
and
great.
I didn't microwave the steak. You know what?
You just witnessed it.
We had a sous chef who would just do anything just to get the job done.
Fair enough.
And he's like, I dealt with these type of people before.
They just want a microwave.
steak.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, those are pretty good groups that we got.
That's so funny.
I think it's more of a danger when you don't order correctly. Like, a lot of times people are like, oh, I'll have it medium. But they really want it well. They're like, oh, can you do it a little bit more? Can you cook it a little bit more? Oh, can you just throw it on another little minute? You're like, okay, can you just learn how you like your steak
See,
and
unless
order
it's
it
raw,
correctly?
I'll just eat it.
Well, the thing is, they ask like, "Hey, can you cook it more, but don't have char on the outside?" And like, how do you want your well done steak?
How do you think we're going to cook it?
A microwave. Yeah. Okay, so on that note, I'm sure, being a chef, you go out and dine with family, friends. Is there anything like you're looking for and you see at a restaurant that if they do, you cannot stand it? I guess what's your pet peeve going out and eating?
I'm really selective where I go.
Good for you.
Because I just don't trust people. I've lost a lot of trust in restaurants.
I can take a guess. You don't go to very many like chain restaurants.
I don't. I observe what's going on front of house first,
Okay.
and that relays a lot to what's going on in back of house.
Okay.
So if I get a iced tea and my lemon is not a fresh cut lemon, it's been sitting there for a couple hours or even a day, you could just take a smell and look at it.
Oh,
It's
Miss B is a big iced tea drinker, so she probably needs these notes.
I do.
and if they squeeze it with their bare hands, I can't.
I'm out. I thought I remembered dining with you once. And
Oh yeah.
see, that's what I was thinking.
So we were in Texas,
Yeah.
right?
You were in another state?
Yeah.
Okay, traveling for work.
Yep.
Okay.
And we had a little bit too much Tito's. They ordered a steak and they tried to pull a fast one on us. It was supposed to be like a skirt steak, but ended up being a flat iron steak.
Wait, they served you a different cut of meat?
Yes. And it wasn't cheap. It was expensive.
I didn't notice she did.
So she's just eating away. And I'm like,
And you're like, no, this is not what I ordered. This is not what I'm paying for.
The chef didn't even come out. The server's like, no, chef says this is the right cut of meat. And then I didn't want to be that person. Well, I'm a chef too. It's like, hey, listen, this is not skirt steak. This is not what you advertised. I don't even want to eat it. Just take it back. And then I just looked like
You look like the jerk.
I know.
But she knew how to identify that it wasn't that kind of steak. I'm just like, it's meat.
Yeah.
So the chef never came out.
No, they didn't because they knew
That's embarrassing.
that they were wrong. And he's just staring at me from behind the line because it's an open kitchen.
You can see him.
And then I'm like, okay, we got to get out of here because they're going to
funny.
spit in our food.
But I'm sorry,
Right?
if you're out of the skirt steak, just 86 the steak.
Yeah. But I remember too, it was something about like the way it was cut and against the grain, with the grain, something. And you explained to me exactly. And I was just like, whoa. Thought it
Yeah,
was
so
just
you're supposed to
steak.
cut steak against the grain, and it was with the grain.
Ugh.
And so just, they took this piece of meat that this animal died for, and this just,
Murdered it more.
Yeah.
Butchered it more.
They just,
Yes.
they just
Killed it
didn't put any
again.
care into it.
No.
So I'd rather go to a place that's going to take care of the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect it.
Yeah,
Yep.
you have expectations. If I go into McDonald's, I know my expectations about going to McDonald's. I know that I'm going to get a burger that's going to taste the same at every McDonald's,
Okay.
You fillet of fish, and you'll probably have a stomachache after.
Yeah, but I mean, the expectations. So
Right.
going into this restaurant that had this really beautiful facade, it was in this really hip area of like
It had good reviews too.
Yeah.
That's why we
Well,
picked it.
we've spoken this podcast before. All reviews might not be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like moving
Hashtag cancel
reviews.
Yelp.
But that's just
Yeah.
that's very disheartening for like that chef to hypothetically put a lot of care and effort into curating a menu, and then you're just going to serve that dish with another cut of meat and just serve it like it's no problem
And cut it wrong.
Yeah.
and try and hide it. Own up to your mistake.
And you know what? He probably wasn't the executive chef or the person who put the menu together. He
We
probably
were
doesn't
there.
know, you know?
We were there pretty late at night. So.
Yeah. And, you know, I've had cooks before serve the wrong cut of steak before too. And they're like, no, that's the ribeye. Like, no, that's actually New York. But they don't know. So it
No.
really boils down to like having the cooks know they need to get educated on
You know what
the
I think happened?
items.
They judged you. These girls are drinking Tito's. They're having a good time. We can serve them whatever. They won't notice.
Probably.
Little do they know.
Ms. Beal ain't anything, but
Chef
knows.
So,
That's
yeah.
cool.
So it is hard to go out to restaurants and be really confident in what I'm eating.
Yeah, you must feel like you're kind of working when you're eating at a restaurant.
Yeah, and I hate going out to restaurants with friends. They go,
Yeah.
what do you think of this?
What should I order?
Yeah.
Ooh, would you put that with this?
Or I'll go with my boss eat dinner. Oh, you should put this on your menu.
Ooh, I like this.
Oh, God.
Oh, my
I like this
God.
presentation. Take a picture of it.
Do you know what's funny? It's the same with me in hotels. And whenever someone in the sales department goes to another hotel and the front desk or hotel does anything, they bring me back pictures and says, we need to do this with our front desk. And I'm like, just because it works there doesn't mean it's going to work here. Like, And in the same thing to you, when I go to other hotels, I do have a harder time enjoying myself and relaxing because I constantly feel like I'm auditing that other hotel.
It's no fun.
No.
It's no fun after you work in hotels and
yes.
restaurants.
Miss B, how many years experience do you have with front office?
I want to say 12 to 15, but I'd have to do math on how old I am.
No, I've literally never worked at a hotel, really, and never worked front desk or front office. I do the same damn thing, and I don't even have experience.
It's hard because I've had to explain this to my husband. You can't turn it off. Like, even when I go into the actual room and there's no people around to judge, I'm now looking at the beds. I'm pulling back the sheets. I'm looking for
Are
hairs.
you inspecting the room?
And I look under the sheet for BBs. I can't turn it off. My husband's like, stop. You're not working.
Bill, do you
You're not
do-
auditing this room.
Do you do this?
Yes and no. So like for myself,
You can turn it off.
When I've traveled, if it's me, myself, I don't really care. I try not to look. I don't think about it. If I'm with someone and a comment is made about, oh, have you noticed? Then it clicks in the work brain and then I can't stop. And that gets really frustrating.
I agree with you. If I'm by myself, I care about the interactions more than the level of the building. How, like, if there's a scuff on the cabinet, I don't really
care about that stuff. I'm looking for hairs and BBs. That's like my brain. Like, I can't turn it off.
But if someone had a great interaction with me, you know, valet, bell, front desk, bartender, server, that is so much more meaningful than the actual property itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you have a bad interaction because this just happened recently. I was at a hotel. We had a negative interaction at the bar, and my work brain immediately, I'm like, I should be emailing, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is not how you conduct service.
Yes,
This is there.
yes,
Where's
yes.
your name tag? Like, I'm just...
And Miss B literally asked that at this hotel. Where is your name tag? What is your name?
I really might have. I'd be like, you seem to be missing a name tag. What's your name? Like, what?
Yeah, why are you out of uniform?
I think we conducted at the end of the evening. They were task force.
Something to that effect.
And they didn't really give a shite.
They weren't like normal task force. So it was like a security company or whatever. Like, but yeah.
They were mean.
Yeah. I can't turn it off.
I
No.
can't either. So when I travel a lot for work, and the first thing I do is after I get my keys to get into my room, I take my luggage and I go straight to the bathtub and just stick my luggage inside the bathtub. And then I walk to my bed and I lift all the sheets up and I check for BBs.
Yeah.
See, it's a thing.
If I don't see anything suspicious.
Oh, because you're protecting your luggage and like your clothes.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Hard
Click.
case.
Click.
No fabric luggage. Ever.
Okay.
And then if it's to my standards, then I will bring my clothes, my luggage out. And everyone that I've traveled with, they think I'm just crazy. But
No,
if you ever
wouldn't.
had BBs in a room, if you ever experienced BBs in a room, it is the scariest thing on earth.
I'm sorry, or
It's
like
horrible.
Any bug, like I know BBs like are horrible, but I think that's a good habit of putting your luggage straight in the bathtub and like protecting yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what kind of hotel you've worked at, the nicest of the nicest hotels. There's no like automatic way to disinfect everyone's luggage. People come from around the world and they bring them. So it doesn't matter how nice you are, how expensive your room rates are, BBs do come. There's no hotel that has not had them. And when you've had to deal with them, there are some stubborn infestations that keep popping up no matter how many treatments. You just get like PTSD.
I'm sorry for the listeners. I know we've talked about bed bugs, but we are obviously talking about bed bugs right now when we were talking about BBs. I don't think we gave the explicit definition of BBs tonight.
Probably not that clear. No.
We're not allowed to say the word.
Yeah, that's true. For us, it's like
Don't
screaming
say it
the
out
F
loud.
word in church.
Yeah.
You just
What's your code name?
It's like
for
bomb in an
BBs?
airport. You don't say it.
Yeah. Don't you guys have code names in hotels for it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hotel specific. My apologies.
It is true. Different hotels will call it different things. But yeah, you don't say that word. So you have different nicknames for them.
You have no idea who's listening. You never know. I recently actually heard this term in my current workplace when giving criticism to a lifeguard. This is a very like random story. He was seen hanging out in the hot tub, like on the pool
on
deck.
shift.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you gotta stay warm. You gotta stay limber, right?
Apparently he was cold. We've been having gloomy days.
He was just in it.
Oh, like hands on the side.
No.
Just straight chilling.
So it wasn't like a
He should have had a beer next to him or a frickin' daiquiri. Like
So-
he was that relaxed.
Oh my
It wasn't
God.
like he could play it off like, oh, well, a towel fell in. I had to retrieve it kind of a thing.
Oh, no.
It was just
no.
kicking it?
I think he was kicking it for like 10, 15 minutes.
No way.
Another manager graciously came up to me and they were like, this went around, you were off. I want to make sure you know certain lifeguard was seen in the hot tub by X number of managers, including the general manager.
No.
I want to just make sure like and like you can address it accordingly. So in my property, the pool deck is overlooked by the restaurant patio. So if you're on the patio, you can see the entire pool deck, the bay, the hot tub, like all of our outside facilities very easily. And he said, does the lifeguard know like he's literally in a fishbowl?
Yeah.
It's like, I've never thought of that. He literally is. So when I gave the criticism and coached the lifeguard on it, like, bro, you're in a fishbowl. There might not be anyone on the pool deck like you can see, but look at that restaurant right up there. That's like all the land that you own. Yeah, people can see you, bro.
And I'm sure hotel rooms and,
You name it. GTFO of the hot tub.
Did he get fired? Or she? I don't know.
They're contracted. I don't technically hire them, but they have been contracted for numerous years. So we've grown a working relationship together.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like, well, it was cold. There was no one on the pool deck. It's like, I don't care.
I was cold. Go for a lap of running, not swimming.
Nope.
Running.
Grab a sweatshirt.
That too.
Why are you like
man.
shirtless and just your board shorts and your little lifeguard buoy? You might like think you're freaking cool being a lifeguard and hanging out shirtless at this nice facility. Put a freaking jacket on. Why are you gonna hang out in the hot tub? What is the thought process?
They did it on Baywatch. You can put a jacket on too.
Oh my God. So is that like in your line of work, the equivalent of like a chef making their own food on the line and then going and like eating it in the restaurant?
It happens all the time.
Really?
Especially with the servers.
Oh my God. That's funny.
We're fortunate that we have this great cafeteria that everyone could enjoy their meals in. It's like a Bellagio buffet for associates. It's really nice. But we'll still have those associates who just feel like they're above and beyond when it comes to the cafeteria food. They'll just
it's
go
too good
behind
for
the
them.
line. Yeah. So they'll go behind the line and start making themselves something, and then they'll go.
A server behind the line.
They do it all the time.
Shut
They just do. And
Like,
you know,
you belong on the other side.
and
Whoa.
it's one of those things I can't control because I have maybe about 38 associates that work under me, and I'm not there to constantly babysit them, but I'll see them, they'll walk behind there, make themselves a really nice like sandwich or a burger, and then walk off. And then so usually the servers are really nice younger females.
Well, they make friends with the cooks. Hey,
Yeah.
do you want to make me something?
Yeah, so it
Wow.
happens a lot.
I'm sorry, I've been guilty of it. Have you not?
No.
Oh no, that's not good.
No, that's like a big no. Like
This
go
was in-
behind the line and cook.
No, I would never go behind the line, but like through the window, like, hi, John.
No, that's totally different.
how are
Getting
you today?
one of the chefs to make you food. I've asked permission to like, can I grab that thing right there? Can I just step into your space? Because I've worked with chefs who have been like, you don't touch our domain. Like,
Yeah, you don't go behind the line.
Yeah.
We're trained. You're not. You're gonna slip and fall, and your face is gonna be in a grill, and you're gonna die. Are you wearing special shoes? No. Ow.
Well, it happens a lot, and I hate to say it, it's usually the female servers who, of course, some of the male cooks into giving them extra fries or whatever, oh, oops, I dropped this dessert. You can have this for free now.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Oh, this creme brulee isn't good. You want it?
Poke a top.
It happens all
Oh,
the
constantly.
time.
Constantly.
Then-
I will say, I walk through our kitchen, like through our wait station, like quite a lot in my current job. And I'm so jealous when the cooks are just back there, like cooking up, like whatever they want. And chef's doing like whatever he wants for lunch or dinner. And all of like the front of house managers get
My
whatever,
chef does not let that happen.
get whatever they want. And then they like go hide in their office and like shut the door and eat their gourmet lunch. And I'm like, man, I had to get 30% off and like for a $25 salad. And like, all I want is like a salami sandwich, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My chef does not allow that. But it's for a reason. She's like, there has to be a ticket for everything. You don't get just to make your own food free from the materials that I buy.
I
She's like, you better
100%
ring
agree
it
with
up.
that.
And so everybody has to have a ticket if you have food.
Yeah, well, servers will ring up the ticket and then all of a sudden, oh, the guest didn't like the food anymore or the guest had walked off or,
Oh.
there's so many, I hate to say it because I'm just throwing people under the
Sneak-
bus.
No.
but It's true.
They're walk
it
around.
happens,
They're
yeah.
walk arounds.
Yeah. And with the hotel industry, guests do calm down, order something, and they just walk away or they go check out and they never come back. So it happens a lot. And eventually the staff members, they know the tricks. And then, there's a certain amount of what you could comp and void for the day. And yeah, you just, it happens and they take advantage of it. But, if I see one of my fellow managers that I work with and I'm like, hey, you want some food?
Right.
Love it.
So guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Hey,
I'm like, these hotel owners, they make so much money anyway.
I do remember though, because not at my current property as much, but at my last few, when we had like really large meeting space and there would be events, you would be sitting there crossing your fingers. There was extra plates, and there almost always was, and there'd be a ton of extra plates of like real good food, and we'd be like, we getting steak tonight, and that was always the best.
Like
So-
what's it called? Like a surf and turf. I remember
Yeah.
once. That was good.
One time I got to help with a plate up, and the chefs paid us to help with the plate up by giving
Nice.
us one of the foods, and it was fun.
Yes, that happens a lot. It's funny because like we have a lot of banquets, 1,000 people banquets, 500 people banquets,
1,000 people.
all the time.
Holy moly.
And so you always have to do about 3% more. With that being said, say 1,000, you have to have at least 30 more, right? And so we had engineering. We can't ever get a hold of engineering. Like something breaks, they take maybe a couple hours, sometimes not until the next day to get something fixed. But as soon as I call them on the radio, hey, we have extra plates downstairs, they're like right there. Or they already know it's
It's like, where was your radio 20 minutes ago, bro?
So the next time you need something fixed, say, hey, we may have some extra food down here. Get them down here. Be like, oh, but before that, can you fix this? Boom.
and
You
just
better
cook
work
and,
for that food.
cook and let something simple, like whatever you have extra.
I'll make you whatever you want, but it's tied to how long it takes you to fix it.
If it takes you an hour, you might be getting the kids' chicken nuggets and fries. If it takes you 10 minutes, you might be getting the skirt steak or whatever beef is on the menu.
That's so funny.
I had to
I-
use food as a leverage to get things done.
Oh, totally.
Not
for
ashamed
sure.
of it at all.
So did whipped cream woman at 5:45 a.m.
And a side of Hershey's chocolate sauce.
Yeah.
Okay, what about leftover booze? Where is the line drawn?
Oh man. I don't get my hands
Half
on
a-
leftover booze, but if I did, then I would take it.
But like half a bottle of wine left on a table. Would you take it and drink it?
No. But you know those little tiny bottles?
Nips.
Those, little 2-shot Tito's
Yeah, the little thing that's for like
Nips.
Barbie.
Yeah.
Nips.
Airplane.
Airplane bottles.
There was it called?
Nips.
Is that really what they're called?
Or is it a nib?
All of us are looking at you like you're crazy.
I swear
Okay.
this is a term.
Don't look up NIPS.
I'm going to take it to the research department. Continue your story.
Not
My-
under nips. You're going to get
my
a lot
apology.
of tits.
I think it's a nib, actually.
Oh my.
So, sorry. Anyways, about your mini Barbie bottles, nibs.
So,
No, it's nips. I was right.
Really?
Alcohol nips. Yeah. Okay. The research department just got back to me. What is a nip of alcohol? A nip is a small amount of a strong alcoholic drink.
huh.
Why is it called a nip of alcohol? Oh my God, it originated in Scotland.
Oh, okay.
As nips or shooters. The
I
slang
think of boobies.
The slang or the term nip originated from the Low German term nipperkin.
Not nipple. Okay, got it.
A single shot is sometimes called a nip. A 30 milliliter.
Oh, lady.
Yes.
A typical spirit with 40% alcohol is roughly equivalent to one standard drink.
Okay.
I was right.
So, housekeeping, when they clean up the rooms, they would take those little tiny bottles, they'll throw them into a bucket. And for some reason, they bring those buckets of little bottles of alcohol down to food and beverage, and we are to dispose of it.
What?
Yeah. I don't know
Even
why.
if they're not used.
They're not used, we are to dispose of it.
Yeah, in
'Cause
your
it-
cup of
Every room-
ice.
Every turnover.
Because it left their possession.
Are you talking like, okay, is this like a mini fridge, like Vegas status? And if they've removed it? Or are you saying like in Vegas,
No,
they like just clear them all?
no, like they bring into the hotel for use, but they decide not to bring it home with them.
Oh.
So any kind of alcohol. For some reason, they bring it back to food and beverage. Food and beverage has a way of disposing it. So
Down the drain.
yeah, what happens is my
No one else has a sink.
That's not how we disposed of it at my last property.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
So, every property has their protocol. So our director of food and beverage, he takes the little bottles, he throws them into separate bags, and he calls them goodie bags for all the chefs when they leave home.
Isn't that
At
a
the end of the
liability
night.
thing?
It is a huge liability.
Yes.
But, they do that.
But Miss
Wow.
B, how did your
Yeah.
old property dispose of them?
So glad you asked. It was so fun. So this was quite a few properties ago, but these were, guests leaving again, alcohol's in the room. Sometimes there were completely unopened bottles of wine. A lot of these things unopened, untouched, but he was very strict about every bit of alcohol got turned into him. So we would have everything from bottles of liquor to wine to beer bottles, all of this. And we would go to the dumpster in the back and we got to throw them in and watch them crash and explode. And it was amazing. So literally, it would be him and I just talking, chucking bottles of alcohol in this trash can. Watch a pow, and it was my
Just like
favorite.
getting your anger out.
Cathartic.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely cathartic just to hear the glass breaking and see this booze going everywhere, and you're just like,
But I'm sorry, like a nice, expensive bottle of wine, you're just gonna throw and see it shatter. And
at this property, because technically you really don't know what it's been through, whether it's anything's been shot into it or resealed. The thing, no matter how expensive it was, no matter if it was untouched or not, it was not consumed and it was destroyed.
This is coming from a person who eats half a pizza.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it was
Super.
up to me.
No kidding.
no, but super consistent, right?
Right. Again, not my rules, because then I worked at another property. We would be like dibs, and everyone would be taking home different beers or bottles of wine that night.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between following policy.
Yes.
Because the policy
Depending on who your manager is.
Yeah, pretty much. Or
Yeah.
loss prevention.
it becomes subjective at that point. But I mean, the heart of it is that you never had possession of it, so you don't know the source. You don't know if it's been tampered with. So there's that aspect of liability. But then there's the liability of saying, Liz, you can take these unopened bottles home, but instead of going home, you go to a park first, you hang out with your friends, you get drunk, you get in your car, you have a car accident. When they say, where did you get this?
Oh, I got this from my boss at work.
Correct.
Yes.
And now I'm on the hook for
You're liable.
your
Yep.
stupidity.
I remember that ABC training.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Okay, take away not knowing where the alcohol came from. Say you work at a private club, like a country club. If I have a specific member that I know pretty well, I've known him for a couple years, and they go, Liz, I'm not gonna finish this bottle of very nice cab. Take it home. You best believe I'd be taking it in the back and being like, ooh, who wants some? Chef, Miss B, Bill, you want some? You want to split this?
In a certain world, you'd have to have a red tag for that.
Yep.
Not a small town country club.
It's literally all about who you work for and the rules, but also then if they're enforced or not.
That is not my current job, by the way.
You still have liabilities too.
Yeah, I do. Not anymore. We're still alive and good, and none of us work there anymore.
True that.
So off of lost and found alcohol. Chef, I've got a question for you. What is the hardest dish you've learned to cook?
Ooh, I like that. I love the food questions.
I know. I thought.
Or like
I thought you were
hardest
the other-
dish to recreate, maybe?
or just the most unique, whether it's cultural and outside your current depth and breadth,
Like what dish
or
has given you the
skill-wise,
most
or
difficulty?
or like, have you seen the ingredients that go into it and just say, hell no?
Oh man, a beef Wellington. It's a very classic dish that you would see. I mean, it's making a huge comeback right now. You see it in a lot of these restaurants, but it's a very classic dish that is learned through culinary school. But when you go into restaurants, you're expected to know how to make a beef Wellington.
Miss B, do you know what a beef Wellington is?
I'm going to guess there's beef
Yes, there's beef.
and it's fancy.
It is.
Ding, ding, ding.
There we go.
So,
Chef, do you want to give a brief background on beef
sure.
Wellington?
So you're taking a fillet of tenderloin,
Okay.
filet mignon, and it comes in this long loin that looks like a schlong. And then you make a kind of like a mushroom type of pate called a duxelle. And then on top of it, you are wrapping a puff pastry around it, and then you bake it. So you're putting this raw piece of beef with mushroom type of sauce that's going around it, and then you're putting puff pastry around it. You're putting it blindly into an oven,
And you pray.
and you pray pretty much to make sure it's coming out medium rare and that there's no blood bleeding all over a piece of puff pastry.
That's so weird.
Oh, it's a delicious
It's
dish.
delicious. I've seen people cry because they messed it up so many times,
Oh,
So that's the most complicated, but also gnocchi.
Really?
Gnocchi was very hard for me because there
gross.
is a lot of
Love gnocchi.
You don't like
You don't
gnocchi?
like?
It's just, I'm sorry, it tastes like squishy boogers. Like, I'm a pasta girl, and that is not pasta.
Okay, this is a great clarifying question. Is gnocchi pasta?
No, but I'll
Or
let
is it a
you-
potato?
It's a potato pasta. But yours is probably squishy because they
not-
didn't
not good.
They didn't cook the potato correctly and they didn't put it through a ricer.
Huh.
You really need to order gnocchi at like an established, like very nice Italian restaurant. You're not going to order it at a chain Italian restaurant. I wouldn't.
I mean, still, maybe I still didn't, but I've tried it a couple times thinking, oh, maybe it's just the place. And it's still just, I don't like the consistency.
Or maybe you just don't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It just,
Okay.
yeah.
Follow up on the gnocchi question. What about risotto?
I love risotto.
I like
Was that something easy for you to pick up?
For me, it was easy, but I could see why people mess it up. You have to sit there and constantly watch it and stir the rice and put the broth, and then that wasn't hard for me. But gnocchi was actually really hard for me, and I practiced so many times. Just really getting into making gnocchi, I had to really set myself up with putting a theme around it. Like I turned on The Godfather, and I had a glass of Chianti, and bought all the best ingredients in the world.
You got in the
and I had to get in the
mood.
mood. So for me, when you're making a dish, you're really trying to make love to it.
I was about to say, damn, you're role playing.
Yeah, you really
You put love and passion into stuff you put on a plate.
Yeah, so you kind of have to. That was really hard, but once you make love to that plate, it really turns out really delicious.
I get what you're
love
saying,
it.
Chef.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm picturing this in this gnocchi, and now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll give it a second try sometime.
Happens
With some Godfather.
Happens for me with my meals delivered by my UPS van.
Oh my God, she's so on this right now. It's so funny.
All right, sorry.
All right, well, this has been fun, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm about ready to go home and make some gnocchi. So, Phil, take it home.
Gnocchi and lost and found alcohol. Awesome place to stop. Ladies, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
For those that are listening, please feel free to reach out to us at talesfromtheserviceindustry@gmail.com. If you have questions, if you have stories to share, etc., we are here to hear your stories.
Don't forget to follow us.
Yep. And if you want to follow us, TikTok is a great place to do it. YouTube is a great place to do it. You can find us under Tales from the Service Industry or TFTSI on TikTok. It's always easier to just search. So thanks for listening, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Bye.
AvenuePodcast.net